Today, we're talking about something every one of us has faced. How do you stay hopeful when life knocks you down again and again and again? And I don't mean the polite little bumps that build character, no. No, I mean the kind of knocks that take the wind out of you. Hello, everyone. I'm Liz, and welcome back to Joyful Mindset with Liz, where we believe that life may knock you down, but it will never keep a determined woman down, especially one with bifocals, courage, and just the right amount of stubbornness. Well, today I'm sharing the real secrets to staying hopeful, not the fluffy kind. And I'm also sharing parts of my own story because, believe me, I've had to get up more times than I can count. Life doesn't just knock you down. Sometimes it runs you over and reverses back. Let's be honest, life has a sense of humor. There I was at 38 thinking, I had life all figured out, and then boom, divorce. I was suddenly alone, heartbroken, and starting over. At an age when many people were settled, I was unpacking boxes and trying to convince myself I wasn't too old to rebuild. And then years later, at 68, life said, well, let's give her another round, another divorce, another starting over, another chapter I never asked for. I was really scared. I went between I have to go when I'm 68, I'm too old to begin again. And I said to myself, I often talk to myself, well, you can finish this life out in this marriage and tolerate it, or you can leave and begin again. I told myself I had to go and that somehow I would land on my feet. Well, I've always landed on my feet. I told myself that anyway, and I did just that. So yes, I know what it's like to be knocked down, hard enough to question everything, your confidence, your future, your worth. But here's the truth. Sometimes the biggest heartbreaks create the greatest breakthroughs. Fear will try to stop you. Don't let it. Let me tell you about fear. Fear and I have had a long relationship, but I've learned who's in charge. When I was 38, I faced one of the biggest fears of my life. Walking out on a stage to sing, something I had dreamed about my entire life. My knees were shaking, my heart was pounding, and I was pretty sure I was about to faint and fall off the front of the stage before I could even open my mouth. But I did it anyway. That moment changed me. It taught me that courage, well, it isn't the absence of fear. Courage is walking out there, even though my voice was trembling. My guitar pick was, twirling as I strummed, and I had to sit on a stool. I couldn't stand. And then 42 years later, at 80, I found myself walking onto the stage of Canada's Got Talent. Thousands of people in the audience. And there's me, a tiny dot with big courage and a bigger grin. Was I terrified? You bet. But I learned long ago that fear doesn't get to decide my story. I do. Hope doesn't start big. It starts with one tiny little step. People think hope is supposed to be dramatic, but hope usually starts small, so small you barely notice it. After both divorces, I didn't rebuild my life overnight. Hope didn't knock on my door with a suitcase saying, hi, Liz, I've moved in. No. Hope whispered, just take one step, one phone call, one morning getting out of bed, one moment of believing the future could hold something good again. A question I've always asked myself, when deciding what's the worst that can happen? Then again, what's the best that could happen? Hope is built on tiny, ordinary actions. Even walking on stage, whether at 38 or 80, didn't start with confidence. It started with one step forward, then another. Hope grows when you move, even the smallest bit. When you don't know what you're doing, learn anyway. Let me tell you about the time life knocked me down with overwhelm. I was in I think it was late 50s, early 60s, and I knew absolutely nothing about computers, but knew I would have to learn as this, it was the upcoming thing. I knew nothing, zero. If someone had told me the mouse needed cheese, well, I might have believed them. And yet, I had a dream to create an uplifting little newspaper because I was tired of the daily doom and gloom. My friends told me I was crazy. No one wanted good news, especially in a paper. Did I know how to design it? No. Did I know how to use the software? No. Did that stop me? Absolutely not. I sat down, stared at the computer like it was a wild animal, and I taught myself. And believe me, that old crusty computer was much more difficult in those days. Oh, I think I'm dating myself. But anyway, piece by piece, mistake by mistake, button by terrifying button. Then came the part I dreaded, selling ads. Me, selling ads. I would rather cleaned a barn with a toothbrush. But I needed income to print that paper, so I made myself a promise. 10 places every day, no matter how many say no. Some days all 10 were no. Some days I felt like, felt defeated. But at the end of those 10 tries, I would actually jump up for joy because even without a yes, I had kept my promise to myself. And actually, the yeses came. The wee newspaper came to life. Actually, it's still alive today online. And I realized something important again. Hope often arrives, disguised as persistent. Your thoughts are not the boss of you. Your mind will say many things when life knocks you down. You're too old? It's too late. Well, you can't do that. What if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? What if I had listened to those thoughts? I would have never stepped on a stage, never created a newspaper, never learned technology, never started this YouTube channel at 82. I would never have auditioned for Canada's Got Talent. I would never have reinvented myself after heartbreak. Your brain is allowed to speak, and mine on many occasions shouted. But you decide if it gets a vote. You've survived every single hard day you've ever had. Sometimes when life knocks you down, you forget who you are. You forget your strength. You forget all the times you got back up before. Think of everything you've survived. Heartbreak, fear, loneliness, uncertainty, reinvention, technology, overwhelm. Starting over at ages where society said you shouldn't have to, and yet, here you are. Hope grows when you take a moment to remember. I didn't think I could survive that, but I did. Your past victories are the evidence for your future ones. Connection creates hope. Hope grows best in community, even a quiet community. I didn't always have people cheering me on during those hard times, but I did have moments. I had friends. I had strangers who encouraged me. I had people who said, "You can do this. when I didn't believe it myself yet. That's why this channel matters so much to me, why you matter so much to me. Hope expands when we share it. Rest is not giving up. Rest is where hope rebuilds. Some days, getting back up doesn't happen instantly, or if at all. Sometimes you need to sit on the floor, have a cry, eat a cookie and drink some tea or stronger, or stare at the ceiling until the ceiling blinks first. That's not failure. That's rest, and rest is sacred. If life knocks you down and you lie there for a moment, well, that's okay. You're gathering strength. Hope rebuilds in the quiet. Meaning lives inside the mess. One of the greatest secrets of staying hopeful is this: you don't have to pretend the hard moments were good, but you can choose to make them meaningful. Everything I went through, heartbreak, fear, overwhelm, reinvention, became the foundation of my compassion, my strength, and my purpose. I help others because I've needed help. I teach resilience because I've lived resilience. I speak on hope because I've been without it. And I talk about courage because I've had to borrow it, from myself more times than I can count. Your mess becomes your message if you let it. The greatest secret: hope is a choice you make every day. Hope is not luck. Hope is not a personality trait. Hope is a decision. It's the moment you say, I'm getting up again. I'll try one more time. Today won't defeat me. My story isn't over. Something good is still possible for me. Hope is choosing every single day not to let life harden you. Hope is choosing softness in a hard world, courage in a fearful world, curiosity in a confusing world, and joy in a messy world. So if life has knocked you down recently or repeatedly, I want you to know this: you are not weak. You're not broken. You are not behind. You're becoming. And if you need a reminder, come back to this video anytime. Hope is contagious, and you're in a place where hope lives. Thank you for sharing this time with me, and please like, subscribe, and share, because maybe someone else might need this message today. And if you have a question, please feel free to post it in the comments. I'm here to help. Meanwhile, take care. Keep smiling. Love ya. Bye for now.